Thank you, thank you, Dr. Neetu Debnath, for arranging such a beautiful program in very short notice. Uh, in fact, every year from our lab we organize this type of program here and there like that. And this year, due to pandemic and also due to other engagements, it was not being possible for us to organize this type of program. So I requested first Dr. Neetu Debnath yesterday only, so within 24 hours notice this has been materialized, that to organize this program in Kachhar College. As I worked for long, almost 2 decades here in this college, so I have a claim for this, and accordingly I utilized that thing, and I presumed that my proposals will be accepted, and accordingly Neetu has talked with principal sir, and because of which all of us are here today. I requested conservator Mr. Jatin Sharma, who also in course of other interactions he expressed his interest to come to Kachhar College, and then I said to him that yes, in December there is a conference being organized by the Department of Botany. There you may be invited to deliver a talk, and in addition to that, for this program also I invited. He expressed his interest also, and then since conservator and the DFO, Mr. Tejas Meriswamy, who is basically a mechanical engineer. After that he appeared IFS, and then he has joined this forest profession. So very good person both of them are. So they expressed their interest, but since they had some preoccupation, they are required to visit a particular area and submit report within 6th of October. So this morning they have gone, and evening they will submit the report to their higher authority. So because of that they could not make it possible to come in this program. Anyway, Forest Department is represented by Mr. Shantanu Barua. We have heard encouraging words from Mr. Shantanu Barua, his experiences in Brahmaputra Valley, and since he has been recently posted here in Barak Valley, also in future programs we will hear his forthcoming experiences under Barak Valley situation as well. Now, as I have said you that every year almost we organize this program. Last year such program was organized in virtual platform, where I invited our forest minister Sri Parimal Shuklabuddha and noted naturalists, wildlife lover Dr. Anwaruddin Chaudhary. So there one confusion came that according to us last year, according to us it was 64th, and they said that it is 66th. So 64th or 66th, here is the confusion. Vishwajit knows that matter well, and keeping that confusion, here in this title we have kept only as Wildlife Week, neither 66 nor 64. The why this confusion is that the first Wildlife Week day, it was first celebrated as day in 1955. First day Wildlife Day was celebrated on 3rd of October. So in 1957, instead of day it was converted into week. So if we talk in terms of Wildlife Day, it is this year it is the 67th, or if we talk in terms of this Wildlife Week, it will be 65th. So here is the difference. As Dr. Neetu Debnath has already said you that this year the theme for National Wildlife Week is the forests and livelihood, sustaining people and planet. So Mr. Barua has meanwhile given you some idea that how these two aspects can be a coordination can be found between these two aspects. And speaking about the forests, it can be said that the forests are the cradle of biodiversity. Lot many plants, lot many animals are found in the forest. Had there been no forest, this variety of plants, this variety of animals we did not expect. Think about a tea garden area. Think about a tea garden area where, had there been no tea garden, that area would have been under natural forest. Now the tea planters, for their wish, for their economic benefit, they have cleared the naturally existing forest, and they are the plant of their own choice, which is having economic importance. That has been planted, they are getting their money, okay, they are doing business, and otherwise in that area, in some tea gardens, some variety of animals and plants also occur. But had there been no tea garden, the number of forest cover would have been more, and in that case we would have more variety of plants, more variety of animals. Speaking about our country where we live, India, India is one of the biodiversity rich countries, and if we speak about the world, there are 4 biodiversity hotspots. There are initially 25 biodiversity hotspots, which has now been extended up to 36. So out of those 36 previously, which was 25, 4 biodiversity hotspots are found within the Indian province. These are the Himalayas, the Western Ghats, the Indo-Burma region, and in the Nicobar Island we find the Sundarland. Now our Assam and our this Northeast India, it falls under this Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot. And if we rank the different 36 biodiversity hotspots, our Indo-Burma biodiversity hotspot is serial number 6. So it is having so much of richness in terms of plants, in terms of animals. If we speak about the Barak Valley in particular, what are the richness of plants, what are the richness of the animals, we can date back to a book which was written by W. Hunter, which is of 1879, where we find he was a commissioner, equivalent to present DC position, and in course of that he had to travel all parts of this entire Assam and also West Bengal, and wherever he had gone, he had stayed there for 3 years, and he had documented all the plants which are available there, all the animals which are available there, the road condition, the population, and the entire geography, then everything is noted in that book. If we look at that book, and if we take the references of the animals and plants which are found during that period, which is about 160 years back from now, we will find that so many of animals, including your tiger, rhinos, barasingha, 2 varieties of buffalo, all other animals were present. Now none of them are found, and many of them are living in photos only, in photographs only they are living, but physically in the forest areas these animals are not found. If I take reference from Dr. Anwaruddin Chaudhary, he said that till 1967 the rhinoceros, which Mr. Borua said that in Kaziranga it is found, rhino poaching is going on. In our Barak Valley in Shunai Reserve Forest area, till 1967 the rhinoceros was found. Its reference is there in some of the papers which has been communicated by Dr. Anwaruddin Chaudhary in a book which is Mammals of Northeast India. Now, if we speak about the elephants, one of my research scholar has done PhD on elephant, and he was supposed to come, and since only just yesterday the program was finalized, he had gone back yesterday morning. He had gone back to his hometown near this Karimganj district, near Ramakrishna Nagar, so he could not manage to come. He has done his PhD in the Patharia Hills Reserve Forest. Now even 20 years or 30 years back from now, I remember that there are a herd of say 25 or 30 elephants, if not more. Maybe number maybe 40 or like that. It was in the year 83, 84 like that, where a herd of elephants came and they they entered into the different tea gardens, and where I used to live previously, the one tea garden, this herd reached up to that area also. Now it is as of now, as on date, if we speak about the number of elephants in our Borak Valley, in Katakhal forest only 3 elephants are found, only 1 male, 1 female and 1 juvenile. So these are 3 elephants are found in in Kachar, that is in Katakhal. And when this fellow, this scholar Najimur, he started his work, at that time there are 8 elephants. Every year almost 1 elephant is coming down, going down, and now from 8 elephants it has come down to 7, it has come down to 4. The tragedy is that all these 4 elephants which are living in Patharia forest in Karimganj district, Indo-Bangladesh border, so these elephants, some part of the year they come India, during some rest part of the year they go to the Bangladesh side where the bird fence is there. The forest department, they have through their task, they have pierced the bird fence. The forest department keep it as, the BSF people, they do not, repair that area. They have kept the area as such for free passage of elephants from India part to Bangladesh, from Bangladesh part to India, as and when they wish to come and go like that. So BSF is supporting in that way the free movement of elephant between India and Bangladesh. Now, the sad part, what I was going to tell is that the 4 elephants which are at present found in that area are all female elephants. So there is no chance for propagation of these elephants. So what will be the fate of elephants in Borak Valley if keep aside the Katakhal 3 individuals, so all 4 individuals from a herd of say 25 to 30, it has come down in 2005, 6, it was almost 8 like that, and now it has come down to 4. So every year if it goes down to 4 to 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, it will become 0 if this trend continues. So what the researcher can do, researcher can publish paper maybe in very good impact journal, so he or they will be appreciated, but the elephant will die out. Like you know that Paulan Singh was working here on dolphin, so he has done his PhD very good, but at the same time the population of dolphin has further reduced. But we as academician, our job or our activities are we have some limitations. We cannot go to field and we cannot do the enforcement component. For enforcement component, people like our DFO, conservator, SCF, they are there. They are to look after all those things. Now dolphin population has reduced. Similarly, elephant population is also going down. So I had talked with several people in Guwahati who are elephant enthusiasts. One such fellow is Kaushik Barua. So he, whenever any paper on elephant comes out, these are circulated through WhatsApp. And Kaushik Barua has, I was talking with him and he said that he will once come here. So that at least 1 male elephant could be translocated from rest of the state or rest of the country to this area, and if in course through breeding the elephant population increases, so that possibility is there. I am fortunate to share with you that Kaushik Barua had a talk with our present Chief Conservator of Forest, Mr. Jatin Sharma, and very recently, last 10-15 days, Mr. Jatin Sharma has written a letter to PCCF Guwahati, highlighting this situation, and requested that at least 1 male elephant, if steps are initiated for translocating 1 male elephant into our Patharia forest area, and hopefully since the steps have taken a positive turn, things will be materialized, and I hope that at least 1 male elephant will come from either Guwahati or from any other place to our this Patharia site, and the problem may be solved within say coming 2-3-5 years like that. I congratulate the forest department for taking up this matter with a very positive note. Similarly, you know that bhalluk, what we commonly call, or the Asiatic black bear, it was once present in our Barak Valley, but now it has become, I mean, from Barak Valley it has disappeared. It is no more found in Barak Valley. In our neighboring state here, Tripura, it is found. Here and there stray orphan babies are found. Another fellow was working on Asiatic black bear. He had taken from Tripura 2 cubs. One night those 2 cubs were at my home here in Silchar, and they were then translocated to Arunachal Pradesh, where one bear rehabilitation center is there. So there those bear cubs are, rehabilitated, and once they grow up to a certain extent, they are released into the wild. So this is done. Now, as I have said that the elephant status and is like that, your Asiatic black bear is also like that, and I have said that rhino population, rhino individuals was once available in our Sunai Reserve Forest. Now very recently one step is being taken up by the forest department. I am in touch with the forest people, Chief Conservator of Forest, the DFO, that we have in our Barak Valley only one sanctuary as of now, declared in 2004. It is Borail Wildlife Sanctuary. Now they are proposing to build up another sanctuary in Barak Valley, and it is yet in the proposal form. Therefore I do not wish to declare their name. Let us listen it from the horse's mouth as and when it has been materialized. But just yesterday I got the draft proposal, and DFO requested me to go through it. I will give my input, and accordingly the things will go in a positive direction. Now once this is done, since that area where the proposed sanctuary will be constructed, as this area was once inhabited by rhinos, so maybe in the long run, because from Kaziranga rhinos have been translocated into Manos, so similarly from Kaziranga rhinos can be translocated into our Kachar part also, where 40 or 50 or 60 years back the rhinos were found. So when 60 years back rhino was found, this means that this area has the potentiality to give shelter to rhino. So if not now, may not be in the immediate future, but if say after say 5-10 years, if rhino is translocated, that would be a good one. And since that area, that proposed area will be adjacent to the inner line reserve forest area, all the other important animals, because in our Barak Valley we have 3 endangered category of the primates, which are your Holuk gibbon, which are your Ferris leaf monkey. Our scholars will be talking on this Ferris leaf monkey. Slow loris also.
Excuse me, Holuk is still available.
Yes. Yeah, I know that.
Upper Jiri, Lower Jiri.
Yes, find, and in some other part also it is available, not only in Upper Jiri and Lower Jiri. So since these endangered primates are found in a considerable number, but their habitats are very much fragmented. This is a matter for which we are worried, that because of this, these are brachiator animals. They move from one branch to another. So once the quality of the habitat is gone, they will face problem. So other vulnerable animals, primates which are found are capped langur, pigtail monkey, the stump-tailed, etc. And we have also the near threatened primates like your Assamese monkey, and the least concerned species like your rhesus monkey. Few days back, a paper has come up in a Journal of Threatened Taxa, where we have seen that the people in Dima Hasao district, formerly known as NC Hills, they are the people, tribal people, as ethno medicine, somebody take the blood of primates, maybe Holuk gibbon, rhesus monkey, Assamese monkey, kidney, liver, Okay, various body parts are used for various treatments, and tribal people believe that that if these are taken, they have various types of belief system which are having no scientific basis. That if the blood is taken during childbirth, then the baby will become strong. Fairy sleep monkey, which Bishwajit will speak regarding fairy sleep monkey, it moves from one branch to another. So tribal people have belief like that. If the before childbirth, if the flesh of fairy sleep monkey is fed to the mother, in that case the baby which will be coming up, so that baby will be a very good climber. Okay, this type of beliefs are there. So these type of belief system which are having no scientific foothold, we should, everybody, we as an academician, those who are in the enforcement component, everybody should come forward, to raise, to educate people about all these types of belief system which are having no scientific foothold. Now, various types of lizards, turtles and tortoises are there. Amit Sohel will be speaking on that. And he is also working on various various birds, but due to time constraint, perhaps bird component cannot be touched today. In addition to that, we have, if we talk about the small mammals, varieties of small mammals are found. Although we say that mega herbivores have gone from Barak Valley, but still we find small mammals and medium type mammals and various types of insects, reptiles, snakes, they are still found in considerable number. And speaking about the Department of Forest and Environment, during recent days, or you can say that during past ministry also, during present ministry also, the things are improving. As our SCF sir has said that rhino poaching has gone down tremendously in Kaziranga area. This is because the Kaziranga area and the adjoining areas where the Kaziranga National Park is located, in the adjoining areas some villages are there. So villages where those places, the villages were those houses where the poachers who were trained abroad, they came here, they stayed here, they got everything, fooding, lodging, everything. Logistic support were given by those villagers, and during night time they entered Kaziranga, killed the rhino horn. Killed the rhino, took its horn. So those villages have been cleared, because of which the rhino poaching has gone down. So this is one issue. As regard to Barak Valley situation, we find that during recent days, a ray of hope or silver lining is seen. This is because we find that in our Barak Valley, within last 1 or 2 years, we have seen a wildlife rescue cum rehab center has been established. Second is that a separate wildlife division has been created for Barak Valley. This is the second point. The third is that, which I have said you, I have partially announced, although full name I cannot announce now, that we may expect that another sanctuary may come up for Barak Valley. Maybe very shortly. So in this direction things are going up. And in addition to that, what we find that the other feature is that as far as forest wildlife is concerned, for 2 consecutive terms we find the Forest and Environment Minister from our Barak Valley. This is also another good point in which goes in favor of wildlife conservation, forest conservation. We find that lot many wildlife enthusiasts, they are coming up day by day. So this is again another positive sign. Lot many media coverage, media news coverage, both print and electronic media coverage on various types of wildlife, these are coming very frequently these days. So all these positive notes are collectively giving a boost so far as wildlife conservation is concerned. And lastly, that within a notice, or you can say within 24 hours request, principal and Dr. Neetu Devnath has requested to host this program. This is also another positive note. So I must congratulate all of them. since they have supported, have given this logistic support for organizing this program here, we'll listen from our research scholars. Biswajit will be speaking on Ferris leaf monkey and also some portion on snake also. We have Trikal Chakraborty, who is basically from Haflong. He will be also speaking on snake. We have Amir Sohel Chaudhary, who will be speaking on Varanus bengalensis, the monitor lizard, and also some other primates like that. Each of them will speak on 8 to 10 minutes like that. We have Vishal Sonar with us, who will be speaking on, who will be showing some of his videos, which, because all of them are very good worker in the field. Okay, they are doing their research work. In addition, they are doing conservation. Thing is that here we will find 2-3 people who are very expert in capturing snakes. Whenever any snakes enters in your house, what is your mental situation? If a snake enters in your house, what will be your mental situation? You will become scared of, you will become afraid of anything. Everybody will, become nervous, is not it? It is like a disaster situation. It is like an emergency situation. As soon as a snake rescuer goes there, reaches there, captures the snake, takes out that snake from that house, the house owner gets a great relief, is not it? But those boys who are going there into those houses, who are getting the rescue call, rushing immediately into that spot, they are doing it at the cost of their own life, is not it? They are brave persons, no doubt, but they are doing it at the cost of their own life. Okay, let us give a big round of applause for those fellows who are constantly doing activities for rescuing the different wildlife in various parts of not only Silchar but in Barak Valley also. You might have heard that just it is a 24 or 48 hours back incidence in Dholai area, Bishnupur area. One man, he was drunk and he captured a king cobra in his hand. He could not identify what is that snake, how deadly poisonous that snake is, and he captured that snake and he twisted that snake around his neck. He behaved as if he has become Lord Mahadeva, and in course of that, as he was drunk, he could not, that snake gave him a bite, and immediately he has gone. His family members thought that Ujha will come and the poison will be extracted, but neither Ujha reached there, and for 2 days the dead body was lying there. After that, only yesterday the dead body was, it was taken to crematorium. So without taking further time, I must sum up here, and we will listen from all these fellows. So they will experience how they captured their snakes in the field. And oh yes, what I was going to tell that, yes, in course of that, just to acknowledge what they have done, this snake rescue people they have done, I requested the outgoing DFO, Mr. Sanni Dev Chaudhary, so who has in a very token form, he has appreciated their contribution, and to these 3 fellows he has as a token of gift from the Department of Forest, snake rescue kits are given. So it has become it is a step to be appreciated. It is a positive step to be appreciated, and the courtesy that has been shown by the Forest Department towards these people who are doing it, or who are rescuing snakes from various parts of the district at the cost of their own life. So once again, I extend thanks to Principal Dr. Nitu Devnath, all my former colleagues of Kachar College, all the students here who are present here. I wish that you will love what our research scholars will be sharing with you. Thank you all.